But what's at stake here? We're looking at revitalization funds for public universities. We're looking at payment of earned allowances, the adoption of the university transparency and accountability solution are a few of the key issues on the table. Tonight, we'll go straight to the source. Join me as I sit down with ASUU President, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, who joins me live from our Abuja studio to discuss the union's resolve. We're looking at government response and what all of this mean for Nigeria's education sector. Prof, thank you for joining us on the program this evening. We heard that ASUU is seeking the conclusion of the renegotiation of the 2009 federal government and ASUU agreement based on what you call the NIMI Briggs Committee's draft agreement of 2021. Let's begin with what the key provisions are from this draft.
Thank you very much, and good evening. Well, the key issues are very clear. In 2009, we had an agreement with the government on a number of issues. And one key one there is that this agreement should be renegotiated every 3 years. So we expect that the negotiation would have started in 2012, which started 3 years. But in 2017, we have to go on strike to force the government to set up its team, led them by Babalaki. And that team wasted our time, all sorts of things, and it didn't work. Then the committee was set up, led by Muzali Jubre, who came in with open-minded, with the permission of the minister, and we're discussing and concluded, and we'll return back to government to look at it. If there are issues, they come back to us, or they should come and sign. But they did not come back until we had to go on strike again in 2022. And then the government set up a team led by the late Professor Nimi Briggs. And that committee also, when they came, we insisted that they should give us their own idea what the government can implement, which they gave us, and we accepted. And we thought everything moreover. I remember then one then Minister of Labour in Gige and his group started saying all sorts of things, telling lies and what have you, and at the end, nothing happened. That's down. Now, we thought that when this government came up, having been so conversant with this process, if you recall, that the President Chief of Staff was the Speaker of the House of Representatives then, who actually facilitated the call-off of our strike. You recall, it was well known to the Nigerian public. And then this president, Mr. President also, you also aware, was also involved because he met with us a number of times too. And we thought when this regime came in, this issue would have been resolved within 1 or 2 weeks and there will not be crisis in the university. Shy with this idea of with this regime, there will not be strike, which we agree with. But we are now almost a year and 6 months. And all our attempts, we have written letters to the president, to the Speaker of the House of Rep, to the Senate President. We have done all sorts of things we could do as human. We even have to issue one of the letters to Mr. President through an open letter so that Nigeria will know we are doing what we're supposed to do. But nothing has changed. If you recall, when we signed the agreement then, which is why we are seeing anything today, a typical professor was in about $3,000 if you change per month. But today, professor end up to $200. 200 equivalent. And we still have not negotiated. So that is number one issue. 2, we had the issue of need assessment fund, which we also did with Jonathan in 2012. We also went on strike and government said, okay, we told the state of Nigerian universities, which they didn't believe us. The next set up that need assessment committee to go around Nigerian universities, look at all the issues, inspect, and the report was given, and it was very damning. The report is there, and based on that, we reached an agreement with then President Goodluck Jonathan that on a yearly basis, government will put 220 billion naira into Nigerian university system to upgrade it to a standard that it can compete with university in the world without having lecturers coming from all over the world to lecture in Nigeria, while our students also will come from all over the world to school in Nigeria. After the first release in 2013, not only 50,000 billion had been released.
All right.
So that idea was thrown away.
I heard clearly.
Yes.
Allow me to jump in because I know that there's a long list of demands, but you also mentioned that you have been trying to reach Mr. President to no avail. There's a Minister of Labor There's also a Minister of Education. This 14-day ultimatum is in addition to the initial 21 days notice, strike notice that you gave to government. What kind of engagement had existed between you and both ministries in the course of this time?
Well, in the course of this time, like I said, we also reached to the minister, we had meetings, we had promises, but nothing concrete. Our member want to see concrete things, not promises. We have been the promises have been made all over the past 9 years and nothing. We want to see concrete things. What are you doing about negotiation? It doesn't involve money to set up a team to meet, negotiate with us. The need assessment fund is there in the budget because it was there in the budget of 2023, which is still being implemented. UTAS and the IPPIS, the Federal Executive Council in December 2023 directed the Accountant General to exist all the terrorist institutions from IPPIS. We are now in October. We are entering October tomorrow. The Accountant General has refused to implement it. We are just afraid in September with the IPPIS.
Yes. Part of what you're asking for is the release of withheld salaries due to the 2022 strike. I thought that the president granted a waiver in this regard in October of last year. What's happening?
You see, we want to say this again. The academics are different from other unions, other sectors. When we came back from that strike, we had two options. Option one, to say, let's cancel all the sessions while we were on strike and start a new session, 2023, 2024. But as people who have the nation at heart, who have the youth at heart, we said no. Let's go back and start work from where we stop and come up to this and then move on. And in doing that, me and all our members, all academics have to make sacrifices. Many of us have not gone on leave for the past 10 to 15 years because of strike. Because when we come back, those periods will be on leave. We will not sacrifice it to teach, to do research and upgrade our system. As I speak to you, virtually every university in Nigeria have completed all those sessions where we were on strike, and all are now in the 2023-2024 session. We have to make sacrifice. In those good old days before this strike, like people have to talk about no work, no play, what have you. Every lecturer will take 2 to 3 months, we call it vacation every year, to go and refresh. But nowadays, because of the strike, we are now being forced to sacrifice our leave, sacrifice our time to ensure that all those periods are covered in the interest of Nigeria as a country and our youth.
Specifically, what I'm asking is that, are you saying ASUU did not get 4 months pay out of the 8 months last year?
What they are owing, when you grant for, you see, when you, what we are saying, we have worked for the all period, so they should pay the 8 months.
But we understand, Prof, that the president did approve that grant with a mandatory requirement that the Federal Minister of Education and the Ministry of Labor and Employment must secure a document of understanding establishing that this exceptional waiver will be the last one to be granted to ASUU and other educational sector unions. You didn't sign that agreement?
You see, let me put this way. There is no union that will sign such an agreement. So you say you are going to home and salary when I've done the work. We're talking about no work, no pay. We're not talking about period. And therefore, you look as if you are doing me a favor. We should kneel down and say we will not sign everything. No union will do that. We are
how do you understand the thinking?
When we argue on facts, not on sentiments.
Okay. Exactly the point I'm making.
If we have agreed, if we have done what government wanted to do, we would have started last year with 2023, 2024, and allow 21, 22, 2023 to just go. Those students will repeat the period.
Professor Osodeke.
Those are the we are valuable, but we love this country, we love our youth.
Just a minute, Prof. If you can hear me, in light of Section 43 of the Trade Dispute Act that gives employers a right not to pay for work not done, how does ASUU justify this demand for payment for work that it did not do during the strike?
Go and look at the judgment given from which they have been citing. That judgment said that when the employer and the employee agree, the money will be paid. Go and check. So it's not, you see, that even that section gave room to the employer and the employee to negotiate and pay. It's not a crime if you pay, and you can go and check.
I hear you, but from the papers, from the record...
Let me tell you, just a second, just a minute. No private sector that is serious will withhold the salary of workers, no matter what. No serious private sector will hold it, because when you do that and they'll start coming with anger, you know the outcome of that anger.
I hear you clearly, but I'm saying that from the records we have, the federal government last year did say that it was a prerogative of mercy to have paid 4 out of 8 months, and that it did that based on a document of understanding that was the last it was going to give when it comes to exceptional waiver to the union. Let's take a short break, Professor Osodeke, and we'll be back with more. Don't go away. I'm joined by ASUU President, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, who's live in our Abuja studio. Prof, thank you for staying the course on the program. Quickly, let's talk about this 2009 federal government and ASUU agreement. I mean, after 15 years and 4 different presidents, ASUU doesn't think it's time to reconsider its approach to negotiations and perhaps explore alternative solutions to these long-standing issues. You know, some have said perhaps it's time to strike more realistic deals rather than renegotiating this particular one.
Well, it's a continuance. The salary of a lecturer is continuance. Is that not true? So that's what we're talking about. The agreement, we have an agreement with government that every 3 years we should renegotiate. There's an agreement that has not been cancelled. So that's what we're following. 2, you see, let me put it this way. You are a worker. They are treated you as a slave and force you to go on strike, and then you are punished for going on strike. If government have agreed to negotiate, to pay the need assessment they agreed on, to implement agreement they signed, would ASUU go on strike? When ASUU went on strike, if government were serious about Nigerian, that agreement was serious about Nigerian youth, about Nigerian university system, would you allow your university to be shut for 8 months without negotiation? And then you now say you want to punish the people you forced to go on strike. I think it's so sad. And the implication, let me tell you the implication of Nigerians that are watching. As I said, a lot of our best brain within this period have left the country. A lot of our best brain that will spend money to train have left because of this maltreatment. And if nothing is done, very many will leave again. And this nation will pay dearly for it. I think that's what we're talking about. In the interest of a country, not the interest of academic staff. Ensure that lecturers go to teach with correct mind, without anger.
I get you, Prof, and I feel your pain as a worker myself, but I'm just trying to say we have done this for over 15 years. I mean, are there no other alternatives to going on strike? Because it feels like it didn't work. While I was in school, we were on strike for about 8 months, and we are still back here in 2024 discussing the same deal. It's frustrating.
Thank you very much. Thank you. As a union of academics, we are not interested in strike. We are interested in negotiation. This government came in May 2023. And up to this, we will be appealing to them. Let's sit down and talk on this issue. Did they come to us? We have said implementation of this issue. Did they implement any? So we should allow it to go, allow the country education to die. Let me give you a typical example. In 1992, we were on strike like this. And the government then said, let's negotiate and we meet. And what we feel is that we don't have money to implement this. We said, okay, we will give you an alternative, which they allowed us, Babangida era. And we went and come up with a document that resulted in present TED fund today. The TED fund you have today is the origin of that particular strike. Because that government listened to us, allow us to give them how to fund. But today, that TED fund, because of TED fund, you are seeing universities being established all over the country today without any plan for funding. You are seeing it because they can go to TED fund. Now, we're even told again that they are going to take 30% of that money to fund loan, which is strange as a country. What we fought for, if we didn't fight for that TED fund you see today, there will not be public university again like you are having the primary and secondary schools. In 2012, we fought for need assessment fund. And we got it. Go and look at all universities. Most of the major structure we have recently in most of these universities are the product of that 200 billion need assessment fund. Those are the problems we are. I can tell Nigerian people, any day the government succeeds in what they want to do to destroy our union, to destroy negotiation, to destroy funding, in the next few years, these universities and polytechnic and college education will just be like the public primary and secondary school that nobody wants to send their children. We are the one holding this system. And when you check around, there are so many private people waiting to catch on that. So we are fighting for the system, not our pocket. And Nigeria should realize we are fighting for this system to ensure that the system works, to ensure that students come from Ghana, Cameroon, and what have you here. Not that people rushing to Benin to go acquire this degree you are hearing recently. The more we do that, the more we start having such people go and acquire.
ASUU is more interested in negotiation than in strike. What kind of active engagement is ongoing? Because you gave a 21-day notice, there's an additional 14 days. Are you saying that this government is not sitting with you at the table at all?
We have met with the minister, even the Minister of Labour. And there is nothing that is concrete that we can say this elsewhere have been done. They don't have access. They're also like workers who have people at the top who tell them what to do. Even the one they approve, which is exiting our union and not extension from IPPIS in December 2023, October 2024 has not been implemented by the bureaucrat. They left it. So if the president sitting as a chairman of the higher decision body in Nigeria, which is FEC, take a decision and say implement, what do you call it? I will not implement. So where are we?
It sounds a lot like you're saying only the president can resolve this matter. Let's assume he's watching right now. What precise message does ASUU have for him?
And you see, when this president was elected as a union of intellectual, we set up a high power committee to come up with documents we can give him, to assist him to look at, to give the committee to look at, that we are so that the country can move forward. The letter we wrote everything, nobody responded to us. Maybe if you look at that document, Nigeria will not be where we are today. The crisis we are today of funding, of feeding, and everything would not be there if you have listened to us. So, what I want the president to do, let's follow the rule. All the issues we agree with government should be implemented. But if you cannot implement, call us and say we can only do X, Y, Z. Let's negotiate WSS. So, 2, little investment for the IPPIS, you are giving directive. Let's force the Attorney General to do so. The one that is in budget, implement the budget. Well, we are willing to negotiate, we are willing to talk, but there should be a response when we write to the government. No response. Which means they say, whether you like or not. So that is it. So we don't license, we suffer during strike for the interest of the country.
We have a few minutes to go on the show. Precisely, why is ASUU insisting on the adoption of UTAS, University Transparency and Accountability Solutions, as a replacement for IPPIS?
Well, our idea then, it wasn't our idea. When we met with government then, the Minister of Labour, chaired by Gige, they told us that, because we told them the IPPIS is not working, we gave, and thank God it had been proven today that it didn't work. And they challenged us, ASUU, say if you don't want this one, go and produce one for this country. That's the origin of UTAS. They say, since this one you say is not working and you are showing evidence, go and produce one, a better one for the country. And it took us 3 months to produce this. We have been paying so much money to the foreign countries, 3 months to produce a good one that was tested. IPPIS was never tested. Our one was tested alongside with IPPIS, and the UTAS came a distant first, scored 97.3% when it was tested, but it was not used. So we know that we were challenged to do it, and we produced it for the country, and it was not taken. But thank God today that everybody in Nigeria has found out that IPPIS have actually created problem all over the country. If they are listening to us, we will not be where we are today in terms of this, what IPPIS have done to the country. So we're not insisting. Even now, what we are saying, that let every university governing council, as mandated by the laws of university, should manage their finances. Not the Accountant General Office managing the finances of university on behalf of governing council. As I speak to you, no vice don't know how much is being paid as salary to workers. They don't know the volume that is paid per month. They don't know those who already have left the system, those who have left, those who are on study, who have left, they are being paid. And the universities are not aware. And you can't punish them. Because the whole thing are done in a place where the universities have no access. So that's why I'm saying, let university go back to the old days. In those good old days, 60s, 70s, every university get quarterly release. And you pay your workers. So we have to go back to that
That's our time on the show this evening. It is really a painful experience having this conversation year in year. And hopefully the stakeholders are watching, and this strike hopefully will not hold. I doubt if the Nigerian education or university sector can afford yet another strike. Professor Emmanuel Sodeke is the president of ASUU. He joins us live from our Abuja studio. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And that's our program today, everyone. You can watch it again at midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi